Is Kaliningrad on the brink of a direct NATO-Russia flashpoint? This heavily militarized Russian exclave, buried deep inside NATO territory, is now at the center of a rapidly escalating confrontation. As alliance forces ramp up activity across the Baltic, Moscow's top brass is sounding the alarm. The warning is blunt: what's unfolding is not routine posturing, it could be the early stages of a conflict scenario.
If similar threats arise, we will eliminate those threats, and everyone needs to understand that such actions will simply bring about never-before-seen escalation that would escalate this conflict to an unprecedented level and expand it to a large-scale military conflict. Everyone needs to understand that.
Wedged between Poland and Lithuania, Kaliningrad is completely cut off from mainland Russia, but it is one of Moscow's most fortified outposts. Now, with Sweden and Finland inside NATO, the Baltic Sea has effectively shifted under alliance control. Moscow claims this is no coincidence. According to the Kremlin, NATO is no longer just present in the region, it is actively rehearsing ways to isolate and choke off Kaliningrad. The NATO members, with their characteristic arrogance, tend to consider the Baltic Sea their inner lake. Scenarios of a naval blockade and seizure of the Kaliningrad region are being worked out in exercises led by the United Kingdom. At the heart of the tension are large-scale NATO drills unfolding dangerously close to Kaliningrad. Thousands of troops, advanced fighter jets, and naval strike groups are operating across the Baltic under coordinated exercises. For NATO, this is deterrence. For Moscow, it looks like something far more serious: a structured rehearsal for containment, or even direct military pressure. Russia's diplomatic response has been swift and aggressive. Ambassador Nikolay Korchunov has accused NATO of pushing the Baltic-Arctic region onto a full war footing. The Kremlin's red line is now clearly drawn: any attempt to blockade Kaliningrad will trigger a military technical response. To Moscow, this is no longer defensive positioning, it is a strategic challenge to Russia's access, influence, and security. The NATO-launched framework military initiatives, Baltic Sentry, Eastern Sentry, and Arctic Sentry, are an illustrative symptom of NATO's overall negative tendency to militarize the Baltic-Arctic region and its de facto transition to a war footing. Beyond military drills, a quieter battle is unfolding at sea. NATO nations have intensified crackdowns on Russia's so-called shadow fleet, oil tankers accused of bypassing sanctions. But Moscow sees this very differently. It argues this is not enforcement, it is pressure. A calculated attempt to tighten Western control over key maritime routes and restrict Russian commercial movement in the Baltic. And the stakes are enormous. Kaliningrad hosts Russia's Baltic Fleet and nuclear-capable missile systems that can strike deep into Europe within minutes. With forces building on all sides and rhetoric hardening, the buffer for error is shrinking fast. One aggressive intercept, one misstep in these crowded waters, and this standoff could spiral into the first direct military confrontation between Russia and NATO.